Hi. A lot of people wonder, how can you tell whether a feeling you have or a direction that you are feeling moved to go is from the Holy Spirit, or if it's from maybe your own ego, or in the worst case scenario, other voices that are maybe, let's say, psychological or something. As a spiritual director, one of the things I rely on actually in talking to people is a sense of the Holy Spirit. So, part of what I do when I'm meeting with somebody for the first time is we take a few moments in silence. And in that silence, I pray to the Holy Spirit to enlighten me, to lead me in the questions I should ask, to help me really listen. And I think of it in a spiritual direction kind of sense, is there's three people in the spiritual direction. There's the Holy Spirit, there's me, and the person that I'm directing. And many times I will be listening to someone intently, and a question just keeps going over and over in my mind. And I think, I don't know why I'm asking this, but I know that if it's not of the Holy Spirit, the other person will just say, oh, that doesn't make any sense, or it'll be a yes or no question and won't lead anywhere. But if it's from the Holy Spirit, many times it'll bring on an aha moment for both of us. And it'll lead us into something that is much deeper than I could come up with on my own. I've had this happen so many times that I've learned to trust that and to ask the question and to just sit with them to hear what the answer is. That's one way that I know it's from the Holy Spirit. Another way that I've had experience listening to the Holy Spirit is discerning my own call to ministry. And in that sense, what happened was a friend of mine was going to classes that were happening on the weekend, and I was busy working, and I thought there's no way I could go to seminary, but I started feeling a call to at least learn some more about the Bible, learn some more about how to bring spirituality into my practice as a psychologist. And so when she talked about this and was so excited about it, I thought, well, I could go down there and just take some classes because it's not going to hurt me. But what happened was, more and more as I got into it, I felt that push to do more and to possibly think about becoming ordained. It seemed ridiculous. I was already trained as a psychologist. I had practiced as a psychologist for 20 years. I'd been out of school for 20 years. I hadn't written a paper for 20 years. But as I checked that out with a number of people who I trusted, my pastor, the district superintendent, a bishop that was teaching us down at Northwest House of Theological Study, the confirmation kept coming that yes, this was the Holy Spirit that was calling me into ministry, and not just something that I myself thought would be fun to do, or I myself thought would be an interesting thing to add to my practice just to make me a better therapist. And so one of the things to know about the Holy Spirit is when it truly is a call from the Holy Spirit, you will start getting affirmation in different places. Maybe it'll be a friend or a pastor or someone you trust that say, yeah, I think you are right in what you're being called to do. And then the other thing that happens is the door opens. I got scholarships to go to this place. I was able to do it and still do my practice and be around my kids at the same time. And it just, the doors opened that is one of the really big ways that I know that something is from the Holy Spirit, as well as it just feels right. It feels peaceful. It feels good. Another way of discerning it is, does it fit into what we know from the Bible about who God is and what God would call us to do? And an example of where that isn't the case, I've had clients in my psychology practice where what they think is being told to them from God or the Holy Spirit is really antithetical to what I know God to be, a God of love. For example, someone thought that he had the ability to heal, but he wouldn't touch anybody unless God told him to do it. And to me, that was like, yeah, no, I don't think God would give you the chance to heal and cause you to have to wear gloves and not touch things because it might heal the wrong person. If God didn't want that person healed, they wouldn't be healed. So, as a psychologist, I've had to discern what are voices that people are hearing versus what's the Holy Spirit. And again, if you come in saying, this might be crazy, but I feel like I'm being called to that, it's more likely you might be being called to that than if you come in and say, oh yeah, for sure, this is something I need to do. So anyway, those are little things that I've thought about as I thought about how do you discern the Holy Spirit. And it's always important to go to somebody you trust afterwards and say, this is kind of what I'm feeling. What do you see? What do you see as my gifts? What do you see as my talents? Does this line up to something you think God might be calling me to? And then sit with it for a while. See how it feels. See if you get a sense of peace. And then go with it. And if it's not the Holy Spirit, the door will close and it'll be all right. Thanks, friends. Hope this helps.